Well, last time we met, you guys managed to explore what was left of this little tomb of the once great sorceress versus Kahim, or Kahem, and through the very good usage of his ability to eat brains at the suggestion of Scylla, you learned that the black marble tomb that you had stood before was cursed, and that there was a trophy of sorts laid within a now invisible chest next to the actual tomb of, or sarcophagi of Brissis. You ventured down through the hole, had a very quick but slightly scary fight with the wraith form of Brissis, and with a summon specter to the fight before Artomis handily killed her, and you all managed, with a lot of trouble with the lock, unlocked the invisible chest and pulled out the haft of Dawn's Edge, a legendary item that has been much tarnished by its time in the Underdark. And there you stand, this sentient weapon now within the hands of Starcaller. What do you guys want to do?
Well, I hate to put too fine a point on it, but we do owe quite a lot of money back home, so Scylla, if you'd like to help me open the sarcophagus up. I no longer feel bad about robbing these people because they've all tried to kill us.
Last episode, we're not grave robbing. This episode, all right, let's grave rob a little bit.
Listen, I don't grave rob before I get to know them.
Yeah.
I feel I now know them.
That's fair.
Yeah, Starcaller, if you would just put some leverage there, and I will attempt to open.
Okay,
and I'll attempt to help.
I will. I'll adjust density to half the weight of the sarcophagus lid as well.
Okay.
I'm still rolling like Dookie.
Don't worry, he just halved the weight, and you got help.
That is a 10.
That's enough. With all the help, it's enough. You manage to push this thinly gilded top of this sarcophagus off. You see the skeletal form with rags kind of about it of this once very powerful sorceress. You see quite a bit in there. You guys ready with your pens and pencils? Because I want to repeat this only once.
Okay, Dad. Repeat it, so we're good.
I love that the implication is that he is going to have to repeat it at least once.
Like, I know I did it twice, but no more than that.
Well, it's not like we're recording this, so
you get one.
First thing, who's got the highest passive perception?
Used to be
Indigo, yeah.
Yeah, I just
11.
Just a 14 now.
14, 11.
That's still the highest. I'm a 10.
Okay.
Damn.
Artomis, you realize that as you topple the lid of the sarcophagus over, that the gilding kind of layer that was atop of it, you could peel that back and off the tomb, and that would be worth 250 gold pieces, you reckon, back at the kingdom right there. If you were to kind of hack it up and throw it into your bags, you think you could carry that back. You see a necklace with a collection of small red beads hanging about her neck that is radiating some magic. Mm-hmm. You see what looks kind of... let me double check here what it looks like. You see that there looks like a very similar glass potion bottle to some of the stuff that you have carried and used in the past, and I'll just tell you, it's a potion of greater healing. And then you see another kind of bottle that's got this kind of pink liquid within it that you don't recognize. It's like a pink rose-hued kind of thing, and it's shaped. The glass is shaped in a heart.
I can, if we want to expedite a little bit, I can spend 20 to 30 minutes with the rose-hued potion and that magical necklace, that beaded necklace, and just identify them.
Okay. Is that a filter of love and a fireball necklace?
Probably.
It is a filter of love and a necklace of fireballs.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Starcaller, what are you doing with Dawn's Edge now? that you've kind of like done this?
I feel like after initially helping with the light looting, I'm not terribly good at math, as we've established. So I'm just kind of like, I keep it in my hand as much as I can, and I'm just trying to get to know it a little bit, both the weapon and also the voice within.
Okay. Do you still, like, have you kept it active, the blades active?
Yeah, I'm keeping it out.
Okay. Just remember, like, you can see that the room, as dark as it is, almost has this unnatural dark depth to it as the blades are out. But she does speak up to you. You are the only one who hears her voice at this moment, because you have now become attuned with it. But she goes, "So your name is Artomis?"
Yes, it is.
Thank you for choosing to wield me.
Well, thank you for being so accommodating.
There's not much I can do but be accommodating in this form.
Yeah, fair enough, Phil. In your previous existence, is there any calling you found yourself employed in?
I only remember this existence.
Well, stuck in a box for a long time, huh?
Yes, but before that I was wielded by a tribe of people that worshipped the sun, and I was crafted in its reflection. I was wielded against a wicked empire of floating cities before my owner was killed, and then I was taken by a cruel and dark woman that tried to twist me. And then I remember being laid within the chest in just darkness until now.
Yes, I believe I met that horrible woman and have, hopefully, cleaved her permanently from this world.
She arose.
Oh, yeah, her and all her friends. It was a whole thing.
Well, you must be quite powerful to have vanquished her even once again.
I have a certain affinity with banishing things that should not be here. The undead and fiends in particular.
Then I think we will work very well together.
I agree.
Sephel and Scylla, you guys, what are you doing? Are you the ones counting up everything, or do you notice that Starcaller seems to be kind of still?
Starcaller's not listening. And I imagine we're like trying to talk about getting out of the room, and we're like, Starcaller,
chucking coins at us.
Starcaller.
No, it's fine. Let him have his moment. I sort of gesturing to my own staff. I can sympathize with the sort of 1,000-yard stare you get when dealing with powerful items. He'll come around. He needs to get out of the honeymoon phase.
I am so confused by this. Starcaller, do you think you can climb up this rope?
Oh, of course. I'm an able-bodied lad.
Okay.
I'd like to give the help action.
Okay.
Passive-aggressive help action.
Yeah.
I will take it. That's a 19, baby.
Okay, you make it up the rope, no problem.
And then I'm thinking maybe I'll help Sephel get halfway up, and then you can pull Sephel out.
Question. Is the hole, like, in the middle of the floor, or is it on one of the edges?
It's near one of the edges. It's, if you're looking at the map, where I'm pinging, it is the northeastern sarcophagi space. That sarcophagi, if you remember, rolled out of the way, so it is kind of that 10-foot space, the corner space that you're floating up.
So there would be like a flat wall, kind of, like going all the way up through. Mm-hmm. Cool. I'm a flex real quick.
Oh, God.
I actually want to try something really quick. Scylla, remember I was telling you I came upon something rather useful while I was going moderately insane on my own on the island?
Yes, I remember.
And I am going to, for the first time, cast Polarity Shift.
What is that?
So Polarity Shift is a spell of my own making, with help from our gracious DM here. So you watch as Sephel sort of grounds himself and focuses intently on that feeling that compels all of us so naturally that it's often forgotten, anchoring us to the surface that we were on. And as he sort of keys into that phenomenon, that aspect of reality, he finds it a separate unit that he can actually manipulate and move. And he focuses on the wall ahead of him that stretches straight up into the floor above. And you actually watch as he doesn't move himself, but his body and everything on him seems to pull itself gravitationally towards that wall, so that his feet now rest on the wall as naturally as yours do the floor. And
that's sick.
he is now going to just walk up that wall.
He's basically a windrunner now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I can basically change the surface in which the gravitational force pulls a creature. So it basically becomes your new floor. It's not like spider climb, you're not sticking to a surface. Your entire gravitational field shifts so that is your anchor point.
That's
Sick.
really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Scylla's just gonna climb.
She's even like, motherfucker, I just want to climb.
Whatever. You're just gonna waste a spell. Okay.
I haven't tried it yet, damn it. I've been waiting so patiently.
I got a nat 1.
Oh no.
What's your
So I'm assuming
what's your total though?
A nat 1 plus 7 for an 8.
Okay, you're all right.
Woohoo!
You make it up.
Not funny. And but nobody sees it because you're too busy watching Sephel.
Yeah, everybody's just like, whoa, and you're just like, you were climbing up, and you're like, and you slip a little bit, and you're like,
Just grumbling the whole way.
it's like section cut, man. No, fuck you, fuck you.
Are you coming, Scylla?
Yes, Sephel, I'm on my way.
You make it up.
Hand over hand. Okay, cool.
Is there anything else you guys would like to do within this now found tomb before you leave?
Do we want to loot the smaller?
Yeah, I don't think we dug through the initial 4.
Well, I think we were worried that there was more stuff in there, like bad stuff, right? Or we think we're good.
I feel like we've cleared it out.
All right, I'm down.
Maybe.
It's up to you
Do
guys.
you want to try and see what happens?
You'll never know.
Yeah, let's open them up.
Okay.
Okay. Don't worry, there's no traps. I'll just tell you guys now, you've cleared the place. The other thing, Sephel, as you guys are kind of slowly making your way out of the tomb, kind of divvying up the gold and various items that you have found to kind of disperse the weight and such, weirdly, a thought is nagging at the back of your head. It's something new that you've garnered from the recent brain, and you realize it's some kind of arcane information, and perhaps the next time you rest and kind of meditate over it, it might reveal the rest of itself to you. You gather up all your things, you're making your way out of the tomb, and as you exit out of it, the whole time, Dawn's Edge is kind of whispering to you, Starcaller, of, how exciting it is to finally be leaving this darkness and wondering what the world looks like now. And as you come out, she's like, it's still dark.
Oh,
Why
yes, we are.
Why is it still dark?
We are very deep underground currently.
How?
Oh, Was this not underground when you went?
No.
Oh, the Underdark's a hell of a place, my friend.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, let me tell you. And I just start like thinking, like telepathically communicating about like the fact that we're like possibly miles beneath the surface of the earth.
Okay. I imagine you are totally filling her in on everything that you know of like the world as it is today and your current situation as you guys meet back up with your guide and you start making your way back to the Kingdom of Ember. For shits and gigs, can someone roll me? It's not really for shits and gigs. Can someone roll me a d20, please?
It's not really for shits and gigs.
Just a d20.
Deadly
Yeah,
serious.
just a 20.
17.
Okay. Guess what? No random encounters.
Yeah.
You guys, after 2 days of long travel, you make your winding way back until you reach the hidden entrance to the Kingdom of Ember. And you find yourselves once again in its lively halls here. There's lots of people rushing about you. You're not necessarily paid a lot of attention, except for the guard that kind of like waved you in. And so here you guys find yourselves. What would you like to do?
So we would have rested on the way in because it was 2 days.
Yes.
Okay, so long rest. So Scylla, is your health back to normal now? Is that a thing?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Your health is back to normal now.
Okay, yeah, I feel
Fantastic.
good. I feel as though we should speak with His Majesty about the things that we have found and seen.
Should tell him that we collected something that we were looking for.
Yes, and we can, if I might make a suggestion, we have our bit to pay back to the kingdom, and we might even pay a little extra to show appreciation and loyalty.
I do hear that those you collect credit from usually need to be paid back with interest.
Yes, it would be a show of good faith, if nothing else.
I will kill them all.
And it's just like the Death Eaters marching through.
Yeah.
Kobold blood everywhere. Let the streets run red.
XP farm, go!
No, Brendan, no!
No! Okay, so you guys are going to try to find the king?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go say hi to King Ballytear.
Okay. You guys go back towards the feast hall, and as you make your way in there, you see that Beatrice and Stool are actually sitting at another table. I don't have them moved on the map here quite yet, but they actually see you guys coming in, and they come forward to greet you. Stool's spores before you feel his mind touch yours. And Beatrice is just like eyes on Artomis, just relieved that they are back. And Stool's like, so how did it go?
It went quite well, actually.
Good.
Yes, I think this was actually one of our first successes in quite some time, with very little strings attached.
And I missed it.
How are you, Stool?
I'm okay. Dealing with the murder of loved ones around here, but I'll be okay.
And you're talking through it with someone.
Yes, no, Beatrice has been extremely helpful. And he doesn't move. It's just like the skull staring straight ahead. And Beatrice is like, I'm still getting used to this whole thing where he talks in my mind. And she like leans in and she's like, but as for his brother, and he doesn't realize that these mushrooms that we eat are not sentient at all. Just saying, we're not killing the machinids.
That would be a difficult thing to understand.
Fair
Absolutely, we couldn't do it.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, Stool. We did miss having you along.
You did? Really?
Certainly.
Insight check.
He is right.
That's a natural 19 for a 24.
Tell
you
me
got-
how you really feel.
You got trust issues. You just need to have friends. God damn.
I got a 15.
Yeah, are you sincere or not?
So
Lay it
she's
out.
sincere. She's sincere in the fact that she wishes he could have come.
Uh-huh.
However, she did not think of him once while they were gone.
Oh.
Oh, that might even be worse.
Okay, I'm gonna roll an intelligence check to see if he understands everything he's picking
This
up.
is just great content. How much are we going to traumatize this poor fucking...
He doesn't grasp all of it, but he's like, I don't think she really missed me.
I think Scylla will walk forward and put her palm on what would be his forehead
Mm-hmm.
as like that gesture of like familialness.
Well, it
Like
is a
petting a
forehead. It's
dog.
just someone else's forehead.
Yeah, it's the skull, the former skull of someone else.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Jesus.
Yeah.
He's a little comforted. He feels a little bit better. He's like, oh, okay. Someone's not scared of me for being a skull plant thing.
Man, you guys, we always forget to think about Stool and what he's going through.
Yeah,
You know?
wow.
I think
I
about
just-
it.
This long, guys.
I just
I
met
think
him.
about it. I'm just severely unfazed.
Yeah.
Both Sephel and Brendan.
Oh no, it was just me. I won't waste good roleplay on Stool.
Oh, okay. Got
Oh
it.
my gosh.
Brutal.
So anyway, what about Sue?
Sue was actually up recently. They came in. They ate with us. I think they're interested in perhaps working a little bit with Beatrice on some potions and stuff, and kind of taking it slow. They seem weaker. And Beatrice kind of like nods her head, and she's like, "Yeah, she's going to need a little bit of time to kind of get further on her feet and acclimate
But she's
herself
on the road
this.
to recovery.
Yes, no, I think she'll be just fine. It's right now. It's really the psychological trauma of falling into lava.
I
Really
cannot
poor
imagine.
design to put that there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know what gods willed for that to be there. And
No, it's really bad placement.
who rolled the proverbial dice, so to speak, as to make that happen. But that's awful.
I'm very
think
grateful
we all
for you for taking care of her.
failed.
Of course, happy to help.
Indeed. And we are extremely gracious for your extension of credit. And Artemis is going to pass a pouch with 700 gold pieces over to her.
Oh, well, this is a little much, dear. You don't need to be paying me this much.
Oh, no, we just appreciate you taking care of us, and we want to make sure we in turn take care of you. We have, the journey has been a great boon, and we would not have been able to set forth on it without your care.
She like reaches up and touches your cheek, and she's like, "You're such a gentleman. I appreciate you." And then she kind of like ties the very large, hefty gold sack to her hip, and she goes, Have you been back to your rooms? Have you just arrived?"
No, we have just walked through the proverbial door. We have yet to rest. And we were actually going to look for King Ballyter and Sir Laertes. Do you know where they might be? We wish to give a report.
Oh, well, Sir Laertes might still be around here somewhere. I know the king and queen actually headed back to the castle, the keep. But I know they've definitely extended their hands to the rest of you to explore the rest of the kingdom.
Do you know if they had started clearing out the tunnel on the way to the springs?
Yes, I did hear from Laertes that they have begun excavations to reopen the once closed tunnels to the hot springs.
So at least that is underway when we are ready. Shall we explore, or shall we head directly to find the king?
Well, perhaps we do it this way. I need to check in with our resident smiths. Perhaps the two of you would see to giving our report to the king.
If
Certainly.
you would be comfortable with that, we can certainly go speak with him.
I'm going to say this to Andrew because I have not given him the new updated map of the Kingdom of Ember. The keep is like a few kilometers away in the greater cavern. And while the sisters do tend to spend a lot of time here at what you know this to be, the others do not know because it's been kept a secret from them. This is just the gate castle. And Trilda, Hilda, and Gilda will spend a lot of time here, but they might have gone back to the dwelling smithies and mines. So they could be here, they might not be.
Excellent. But I from what I hear from Beatrice, the other two are welcome in the inner chambers?
Yes, yeah, they're welcome in the greater cavern and kingdom.
Then, actually, come to think of it, why don't you two come with me, and then your friend Stool and Beatrice, I think we will take the invitation to enter the inner keep.
Oh, there's more to see of the Kingdom of Ember.
Artemis kind of like
Yes,
gives...
there's a lot.
Yeah, Artemis gives like Sephel a too hard pat on the shoulder. Oh yes, my friend. What would you think? We would just welcome people we didn't know, had untold abilities into our, sanctum sanctorum? That would be very foolish.
It sounded like that was exactly what you were doing.
Yeah, there's like this long look between Sephel and
Yeah, we're just
Scylla.
all kind of like looking at each other.
Like, yeah, actually.
Like, is that not what happened?
Artemis nods a little too satisfied. A clever ruse.
Shame.
Go ahead.
If we are heading quite far away to speak to His Majesty, I would like to see Sue first.
Of course.
But of course, yes.
So that would be on my list, assuming that we're going to be doing a little bit more walking.
Yeah.
Artemis will just pull up a chair at the feast table unless you want him to come with you. Sounds like it might be a private moment.
Yeah, you can stay. Or not cut, whatever.
You cannot come.
You could,
I picture Scylla actually stuttering this out. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
It's like, you can stay, but stay where?
just like, we'll be back. She just walks off.
Of course. Arnold's just pull up a chair with some of his buddies and Beatrice and have a meal while you guys are seeing to Sue. He's the one to intrude.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know how well we've done, like, measuring distance and traveling down here is always sort of hard to track, but how long do we think a few kilometers is to travel in the Underdark?
Like how long it takes?
Yeah, like, is it...
If it's, since you don't know what the rest of the kingdom actually looks like,
Right.
the traditional amount of time it takes to go a couple of kilometers can be like half a day, depending on like the size of the tunnels and whatnot that
Right.
you're traversing within.
Okay. So it is, like, it's a day trip, essentially.
That's what you assume with the
Right.
knowledge that you have at hand.
Yeah. It's not going to be like a quick for it, like, we're going to walk down the hallway and then we're there.
You don't
It's
know.
like-
it's
it's gonna
definitely
take-
not the hallway, but it's
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay.
all right. So the two of you are going back to see Sue, or is it just Scylla?
I'll come. I do want to make sure that she is okay, and see what kind of progress she's made.
Okay.
But any sort of private moment that Scylla may need, I think Sephel makes it clear that if she wants time with Sue, all she has to do is ask.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it occurs to Scylla why that like privacy would be needed, so I think she's good.
Sure.
Okay. You guys make your way back to the room that you had stayed in before, and as you open up the door, you see Sue standing by the bed. She seems to be kind of playing with the horribly burned clothing that she formerly wore. And she's obviously wearing new clothes. It's kind of like draped upon the bed, and she looks up and she looks at you guys, and you see a small kind of smile comes over her face.
I think Scylla runs over and hugs her.
She's like, okay. Oh, that's still a bit tender. Still a bit tender.
I am so sorry.
It's all right, Scylla.
I was very excited.
To see you there.
Get off me!
I was very excited.
My arm's on the floor.
Yeah.
She's just like, no, it's okay. It's okay. It's a bit tender. Beatrice has been working very hard, Scylla, but it's so good to see you. I'm glad you're okay.
So she's like bald, right?
Yeah, she's bald now, and she has these like these scars all about her arms and basically of her whole body that are kind of weirdly shaped in like flame-like patterns. So it's not like unbearable to look at, but it's clear like she is scarred. And some of it comes like across her face and stuff, but she has no hair. But you can see like tiny little follicles are starting to kind of reappear in places. Go ahead.
How are you feeling? Do you need anything?
No, I'm all right at the moment. A bit sore, and she's like flexing her hands. Things are a little stiff, but I think we'll be all right in time.
And are you finding your way around and keeping busy?
I haven't ventured too far. I've mostly spent a lot of time here eating my meals and with Beatrice in her small workstation here within the Gate Castle, as she's told me this place is called. That's been particularly it. But what happened to you all? She said you went out to explore some kind of new area or something.
Yes, the His Majesty's asked us to explore a tomb, which we found some treasures. We were able
wonderful.
to. Yeah, we found ourselves in need of resupplying and thought perhaps some stronger gear could help us moving forward.
You can always use that. Did you? Oh my gosh! Did you? Is the egg all right? What happened immediately after I?
Yeah.
The egg is fine.
Oh, good.
I spent time with it in the chapel, and I think we are close to an end to its incubation. It wasn't able to fully complete once we removed it from the intense heat of the magma, however. So
you put it in the magma.
It activated it.
Yes, I was very upset as well, Sue.
It started working.
It seemed to be an inhibitor to its incubation. It actually seems to have gotten quite far in the process.
Incredible.
But as I said, removing it did stop that process, so while I think it is close, it does require a little more attention.
Fascinating. Well, that's good. I'm glad we still have it. It would have been a horrible waste and loss of life if, after everything we went through to get it, it was now gone. But what about this tomb? Did you find anything new?
Yes, we found a quite strong sentient weapon, which was very interesting.
Sentient weapon? I've heard about them, but I never thought I'd come across one personally.
Yes, Dawn's Edge is its name.
Don't believe I've ever heard of it.
It seems to be an artifact of a, well, honestly, we're not... The history is rather cloudy. Have you ever heard of a civilization known as Netherese? It seems to be quite ancient.
I've heard tales of such a place, and that it was a kingdom of greater magics. They floated amongst the clouds, and I don't know if this is entirely true, but I heard that they consorted with the folks of the Cloud Giants. But past that, I don't know too much about them.
Well, anyway, some artifact of that time period, at least,
Yes.
may prove useful.
Well, wonderful. That's good to hear.
Well, they tell me that you will need quite a bit of time, which, of course, but that you are welcome to work here and learn from Beatrice and recover. And I wanted to see how you felt about that.
Oh, well, as you can see, and she starts walking away from the bed, but it's very shaky, and she has her arms out to her side to kind of like keep her balance, and you can see that like her legs are a lot thinner. She's like, things are a little bit tricky, and she kind of gives you like a sad smile. She goes, but Beatrice thinks I'll make a decent recovery, and I think I want to take things just a little bit slower right now. Get my feet better underneath me before I start scouring through the dark again, you know?
Of course. I know that you lost your gear, specifically your potion supplies,
Yes,
your backpack.
That is probably one of the more painful things to have learned upon waking up.
If I can bring back supplies for you to make another one, I would be honored. And she just whips out her bag and starts dumping everything that she was given from the tomb onto the bed.
Oh, that's you. No, you don't have to do that. It is going to be quite all right, Scylla.
Well, I think you could use this.
I'm sure I could, but I'm not going to take it away from you. You worked hard for all of that. No, from what I understand with working with Beatrice, our knowledges of potions and the like are quite matched, and she's invited me to work in her shop and pay me, and there's quite a large demand for it, seeing as there's all that happened within the hot springs, which I heard you were going to help out with, and then it seems the Scale Guard are out and about quite often, kind of patrolling the nearby tunnels and caverns, trying to make sure that no dangers are coming through. You know, the injured that come back, they could use my help.
It's quite a perfect fit.
It'll work for now till I get a little too antsy. But what about the lot of you?
Well, we are going to explore the plumbing. And apparently there are some clogs, which we will work on. And from there, I think, well, it will probably take us some time, right, Sephel? It seems like it will be quite the mission.
It's hard to tell. It doesn't seem like something that we've had to deal with previously. Hopefully it will not be too deadly, but, well, I am supposed to be the realist. I do not think it will be an easy task.
We met a very nice member of the realm, Artomis Starcaller. He seems to be friends with Beatrice.
Oh, the stories I've heard from Beatrice about that one. I don't dare repeat them. They were absolutely filthy. That woman's got quite the mouth on her when she wants to.
Oh, that is strange, because he smells fine. I don't think he's...
Oh, I forgot. You're just so sweet.
Sue and Sephel, just share a knowing look, nope, just leave it. Just leave it where it is.
Go down that road today.
Nope.
I trust you. All right. But they will be accompanying us on this mission on behalf, which we will do. We've essentially partnered with the Crown to help them, and we would like to move forward with figuring out why these fiends are appearing in the Underdark, and we think that we have found an ally.
I did get to meet them rather briefly, and I don't think you could have picked a better one. I'm sad that my own people seem to be so far gone in whatever is afflicting them that we can't look to them for help. But King Boletaire and Queen Griselda, they seem wise and open, which is good in this time.
Indeed.
And I don't think that the monarchy of Gracklestug is necessarily gone. I think that there are complications that will have to be dealt with, but if all of these things tie together, I hope one day we can do something useful enough to help restore that city to its former functioning glory. I'm not familiar with how it worked outside of what we've seen, unfortunately. But
Not too much was different with the people. Were a bit nicer, per se.
I would have liked to see that.
Yeah, believe me, it would have been a very different experience for you. But let's have you eaten?
No.
I could use a bit of a bite myself, and then Beatrice was going to show me her home and her business in the Great Cavern, as she called it, part of the Greater Kingdom.
Yes. That's where we're going to, right?
Yeah, you've been invited into the greater part of the kingdom.
Yeah.
Perfect. Then we should introduce you to Starcaller, eat a meal, and then head over.
Okay. Yeah, you guys head back into the banquet hall, and Artomis, Stool, Beatrice, they're all there. Beatrice kind of looks up and waves to Sue, and Sue kind of returns that. But you're all in there now.
And then I thrust my blade into their ghostly body, and they were evaporated like so much mist on a sunny morn.
Oh, you just hear kobolds cheering, like, whoa, Starcaller, way to go! And Beatrice, like, turns right back and is just like, you are so good with that sword.
Scylla turns to Sue. That is what happened, although I don't know what a sunny morn is.
I'm not entirely sure myself. I'm assuming that has something to do with the surface, perhaps.
That strikes. Starcaller, this is, Sue.
Hello. It is nice to make your acquaintance. I have heard much of you from Beatrice.
And I have heard much of you from Beatrice. Perhaps a bit too much. But it's a pleasure to meet you all the same.
Likewise. Well, welcome. You've already been to the feast hall, but please pull up a chair and let us eat together.
Thank you. And so you guys, you dine for a bit. Many various kobolds come up to your tables and introduce themselves and share a little bit of food and drink and talk and kind of start to get a sense of you guys. But about an hour or two has passed now. Would you guys like to kind of continue your time in here, or do you want to move into the Greater Kingdom?
I think we just move into the Greater Kingdom, personally.
The Greater Kingdom?
I think so.
Greater Kingdom. All right, let me...
What's so great about it?
All right, here we go to our brand new map.
Ooh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, man. Bet y'all wish you could see this. You have to join the Discord.
Oh, shit.
Got him.
Join that Discord. You'll see it. I spent many an hour working on this new map for everybody.
Love that
That's
incarnate
pretty
map.
sick. I'm loving the style.
Yeah. So as you guys exit out, you see as you look backwards the carved facade of what looks like a kind of keep that you have come from. And I imagine Starcaller like gestures their hands out as you come through the last of these tunnels into this massive cavern, and is like, welcome to the Greater Kingdom. And you see what looks like a huge temple off to the northwest. You see what looks like many different types of like stone houses and a large kind of bazaar area. You see to the southeast there what looks like a smaller fort, and you can hear like yells and cheers, and then an even greater one where you see these different banners, the same banner that you had seen at the Scale Guard. You see this kind of like weird dour looking kind of structure near that same fort. But a couple other things kind of strike your attention. You hear the lull of a deep river, and you see it splitting this area into 3 different distinct sections. The kobolds that you see moving about you, and occasionally you do see a taller type of lizard-like folk, in which case you guys can roll nature checks for me. Andrew, you don't have to do that. You know what this creature is.
21.
I got a 16.
Okay. Sephel, you recognize some of these taller creatures. They've got like this silvery grayish skin. They're troglodytes.
Ooh.
A kind of underdark lizard folk, and you see them sporadically throughout. You actually very like quickly in 1 or 2 moments see a couple of goblins running about the place. But it's predominantly kobolds of various colors, mostly of this kind of dusty red rust. You see these great stalagmites and stalactites bursting forth and coming down all about. You see crystals that illuminate all of the area about you. You see these green ones, you see these red ones, you see these very light pale blue ones, you see white ones, almost the entire spectrum, and they are sporadically throughout the streets and on these stalactites, and they provide this beautiful hue that kind of rests over everything. You don't see hardly any torches of any kind. And the atmosphere, it's calm, it's happy. A lot of the people here, this is so different from like the anger and distrust and, you know, prying eyes that you got within Gracklestug. You know, people greet you with a smile and a wave. People are, you know, saying hello to Beatrice in Starcaller. And eventually you come upon a kind of Tudor looking for our imaginations, but it's mostly comprised of like stone, and you see some of that zirkwood kind of making this roof building, and you see kind of like a cast iron kettle sign hanging outside, and it just says potions underneath in Undercommon. And Beatrice stops and turns around. She goes, well, this is my home right here. You are welcome to come in, but there are a few inns about the area that I'm sure you could find rooms in. I'm afraid I've only got the 2 bedrooms. Or you could probably try up at the Coalfire Keep with the king. Perhaps he might be able to lend you a room for now.
I think that would be good.
Yes, let's finish our report to the king, and we'll find accommodations after.
Sue, would you like to stay here, and I'll show you about the shop, and perhaps we can find your friends later, or would you? And Sue's like, oh, I'll she turns to you, Scylla, and she kind of like pats you on them. And she's like, oh, I'll catch up with you later if that's all right.
Of course.
Thanks.
She turns to her and then like goes to hug her and then stops at the last second and then like stands awkwardly.
Sue turns in and gives you a hug, seeing you come in, and she's like, it's not that I don't want them, but we'll work up to the big bear hugs you used to give me.
That we will. All right. Goodbye, Sue.
I'll see you later. And so you guys continue making your way through the kingdom. You smell various kind of earthy, food-like things kind of wafting throughout the air. You smell breads and you smell roasting meats. You pass by the markets, and eventually you come over this bridge. And you see stretching before you, you can see kind of this gray, dusky castle over in this water, this underground water, or river, I should say. And you see this large statue depicting a glorious looking dragon atop of it. Is anybody curious about it enough to roll checks, or shall we keep going on?
I'll check that out.
Okay.
I think Sue is swimming the whole way there. I think she is like, I'll meet you there.
So
okay.
Scylla hops into the underground river.
Just
Yeah.
be careful. Okay, she's gone.
Too late.
A couple kobolds like rush over to and they're like, "Oh no, wait!" Oh. And then they see you like pop up, and you're just like surfing, cruising through the water, and they're just like staring agog, like, "Whoa!"
Hell yeah.
Brendan, go ahead and roll me a religion check.
Okay, am I particularly good at those? About as good as every other intelligence thing. 22.
You recognize it, and it is very, very finely made, that this is a very large, huge statue of Bahamut, the platinum dragon.
Makes sense.
And as you guys kind of make your way around here, there we go. Andrew, sorry, I didn't realize your token didn't make it over. As you're walking through this area where this statue is, you see that there's a lot more bigger kind of manor-esque homes about here. And Artomis tells you that this is kind of like the nobles faction-like area, and they had pointed back towards the market, and tells you that that's more of the commons. That's the greater section of the city. They point to the large kind of temple-like area and says that's the temple to Bahamut. The couple of forts that you had seen, the greater, larger, more fortress-esque, is known as the Dusk Fort, and it's where the numerous members of the Scale Guard are housed and stay and train, while the smaller one closer to the river that you had previously passed is for the more common militia and army. And then he tells you of the kind of walled off, very large square place, and it's called the Periculum. And it's where spectacles of training done by the Scale Guard or other well-known individual warriors within the kingdom go to train, and there's traps and monsters kind of thrown in, but it's not blood sport. It's more of entertainment while educating themselves on how to be better fighters and working with each other and overcoming numerous obstacles. And the thing, Sephel, if you could roll me a perception check.
Okay. That's a hot 9 on perception, buddy.
Oh, God. Hey, bud, I'm just going to tell you this. You might want to burn a knowledge thing on it.
Okay, all right.
Not trying to, like, railroad you, but this is for you.
You know what? I appreciate the meta. I will take it because it's to my advantage. No, so actually, as he's sort of looking around, a bony little spider will crawl up on his shoulder, and he'll just sort of look over. This place is sort of interesting. Tell me what you see. I figured you might be intrigued by something around here. He's going to burn a knowledge as well.
Okay.
Gets me to a 14 total.
Okay. As you are nearing closer to the stone keep surrounded by this underground river, your skeletal spider friend kind of like pulls on your face until you turn towards the river more. And they're standing by the bank relatively close to you. You see the form of Indigo, and they are looking out across the way. And they kind of like turns towards you, and they're like, look over there. And this form of Indigo points across the river, and you see what looks like the walled off remnants of a ruined civilization, culture, town. You're not sure. You see these broken buildings, but they don't share the same architecture as any of the kobold buildings that you had passed. And you see the thing that truly draws your eye. You see a large tower, almost, or actually, it's a little bit taller than the tallest tower of the Coalfire Keep. However, you see part of its walls have been blown open, and you see multiple levels. And the thing that shocks you the most is that all the rubble that had come from this tower floats about it in almost a veil. And all about its base, you see multiple stalagmites and crystals that kind of echo upwards surrounding its base. And you hear a familiar voice. Starcaller, Sephel. And, is that Scylla down in the water there? And you turn and you see Laertes approaching. He's just come off the bridge that goes towards the Coalfire Keep.
Yeah, she'll be up with us in a moment. She wanted to travel in a more natural method.
Of course. No, that's quite fine. I'm just very surprised. I'm sure many of the other common folk about here were just as taken aback. But it's good to see you alive. How did the plundering go?
Better than we could have hoped, brother. It was quite the boon to us.
Incredible. What? Glad to hear it. Anything of good find or make?
I'm gonna whip out Dawn's Edge and use that bonus action to puff smoke.
Yeah, and you see what was like this bright area about you instantly just get darker, and as the blades come out and kind of intensify into this dark smoke with the red ripples kind of flowing through it. And Laertes kind of like takes a step back and he's like, "Oh, that is quite something. That is for sure. What is it other than clearly some kind of weapon?"
Yes, and I'll dismiss the blade and just hold on to Dawn's Edge. Yes, this is actually a sentient weapon. Dawn's Edge has a mind and a voice of its own. It has seen and smited much evil, and now will hope to aid us in the same.
It can talk.
Well,
That's
yes.
that's quite odd. I've never heard of a weapon doing that, but good on you. I'm sure the king would be interested to hear it, but Sephel, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Tell me, that tower beyond the keep, what is that?
He looks over and his expression gets a little bit darker, and he goes, we're not exactly sure to whom or what it belongs to. We don't have very many skilled magic practitioners that could tell us exactly what it is, but there is a power, a darkness that seems to rest within it in much of the ruins over there. When we stumbled upon this greater cavern many a year ago and started building here, one of the first things we constructed was the wall to keep it separate. All manner of noises and creatures seem to kind of crawl forth from that area. And so we have not touched it since, as none of our powers seemed capable of approaching that tower. But perhaps now that there is such a one within our midst, you would be curious to investigate it.
I would be very curious. Its magic is unique. It's quite intriguing.
Well, perhaps you can take it up with the king. Are you here to tell him of what you found within the tomb?
Yes. We figured we would report in, of course, and see what our next steps might be, whether that be clearing the hot springs or other preparations.
All right. Well, follow me. We'll get you kicked up. And he yells out to the river, Scylla! Scylla! Are you coming with us?
She's like, she hops out of the river. And then she dives back in, and then she hops back in and coming!
Like dolphin hopping.
Yeah.
This water for you, Scylla, is some of the cleanest you've ever come across. It's not cold, it's actually warm. It's kind of like a bath per se. And you see that there's some very similar flora growing within the river itself that you recognize from the Dark Lake, and some that you don't. Things have more hues and colors here than they did in the deep, deep dark. But eventually,
Are there fish living in it? Sorry.
You don't see any particular fish there, other than anything like very small and almost minnow-like, and they're very pale. They're, almost translucent as well. Still keeping within the types of species that you had found within the Dark Lake.
Cool.
But you come up to the bridge, and you join your companions as you make it across, and you are guided through the large double doors and into the keep, and eventually led into what is surprisingly a smaller throne room than perhaps you might have imagined, comparing to... well, actually, you guys didn't see the throne room, did you? Indigo was the only one who did. Sad.
How about that?
But you see within it, as the doors are open for you, and Laertes calls out, "My king! Our fair friends have returned." You see the king and queen are standing amongst a couple other kobolds talking, and they all turn towards you, and a big smile comes across his face, and he goes, "Welcome to Coalfire Keep in our greater kingdom." And that's where we'll leave it today.
Oh man, is that the time? We're overdue for another check-in with you fine listeners. Thanks as always for being here right up to the outro. We really appreciate that. You will never believe this, but we recently hit our 1-year podcast anniversary and 3,500 downloads. It's truly been a blast. We're having just a grand old time, and we look forward to another 50 episodes to come. Hopefully you join us for those next 50. That being said, we do have an exciting announcement. We have launched a coffee page. Yes, that's KO-FI page. There's no pressure to do so, but if you want to toss a coin to your witchers, that's us. You can head to ko-fi.com/themadness-table. All donations will go first toward our monthly operating costs, which include our podcast hosting software, items like that. But our ultimate dream is to be able to upgrade our setups, to be able to offer live stream recording sessions to get that sweet, sweet video content to accompany our audio. If you're not able to donate, but you want to support the show, we would just adore you if you left that 5-star review in whatever podcatcher you're currently listening in, or if you just spread the word and tell a friend. We would be eternally grateful for that support. So that's it. Until next time, when...
The madness